All frucked up, day 32. So, the 80-10-10 diet audiobook. The 80-10-10 diet by Dr. Douglas N. Graham. Not sure what kind of doctor he was, is, what have you. I haven't looked him up. I've been listening to the audiobook. The first time kind of passively, the last two times with a bit more of an active listening approach. The book makes a lot of sense. I know it steers towards like raw vegan, 80% carbohydrate, 10% fat, 10% protein, but seems like the book makes a lot of excellent points. And, maybe it's because on some sort of spiritual level, I actually wouldn't mind going without the meat. I live close enough to a meat packing plant that if I had a tee box in the front yard, I could probably drive a golf ball all the way to their front gate, and the semis roll by all hours of the day and night, just hauling hogs. And quite often they protest loudly as they go by the house. And then occasionally I can hear the trucks unloading, and the hogs are quite loud then as well. So, how do I feel about all that? I don't know. I still eat meat currently. But the book, the 80-10-10 diet, does get into how we process sugar, how long it takes to clear the blood, how long it takes to clear the blood in the presence of fat, etc., etc. Seems to make a lot of sense to me. So, when we've got a lot of dietary fat, the sugar that we ingest just gets stuck there in our circulatory system, and it can't actually get into the tissues and cells of our body like it needs to. Well, where am I going with this? I don't know. It's, the sugar diet's in full on, clickbait mode now, where everybody's got to make a video because they're trying to get the views. Cool. Like, you do you, right? Get your subs, get your views, monetize your channel, grow while you can. I wish you all success. I'm a greedy capitalist. So, I might be in danger of being a vegan, but I'm definitely a greedy capitalist. So, get your views, your subs, make your money. But it's just, it's like clogging up the YouTube searches now. So, yeah, I kind of wish I'd chosen a different naming convention for my videos, I wish I didn't even have sugar diet in the title, even though that's the approach that I've been trying to take. And, whatever it is, 60, 70% of the time, I have this terrible gut pain. And then other times I don't have any pain at all, 96 ounces of apple juice, no problem. Half gallon of orange juice, no problem. Have a half gallon of orange juice another time, and it feels like I got punched in the gut. So I don't know. I'm leaning more towards a focus on the absence of fat. The absence of fat. And really, when I think about it, the fasting that I did, beginning April 1st, 2017, where it was like, well, I could have plain water, black coffee, or unsweetened tea. Well, now looking at things through this new lens of the sugar diet and sugar fasting, it's like I can just roll into those fasts, and now I can sip on sugar water. Now I could have a sweetened black coffee. Now I could have a sweet tea. It's like maybe that's where I need to be. Maybe that's what I need to focus on. Just get back into the fasting. But, and I've said this in videos too, where I wanted to abstain from food, but then also avoid the metabolic stress of ketosis by having the sugar, like microdose it. And then I set out to do that, and it's like, oh, stomach pain, stomach cramp, bloating. I've got people telling me that I'm not eating enough. Possibly, possibly. I'm not arguing with you. But I would have to live my life in a perpetual pair of joggers because I don't fit in my pants when I'm bloated. None of my jeans will fit when I'm bloated up. So there's that too. It's like people telling me to eat more. It's like, okay, I'm open to that. I'm open to that, except I don't know how I would actually put that into practice. I don't know how I would actually ingest that food because I'm already bloated and miserable. The last thing I want to do is have another bite or another sip of anything. You know, Cole talks about being flat stomach. Well, I understand that there's a fat deposit there. There's some adipose tissue, but it's like the quantities that I have to ingest to remain flat are so small that I mean, the people that are telling me to eat more, they'd really be upset if they saw just how little I'm eating sometimes. But then I'm miserable. So folks are disappointed in the channel, which, you know, in fairness, all respect to those folks. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate them watching the videos. But this channel was never about them. This channel was for me to vet out a dietary approach. And if anything comes of it, it might just be the fact that I'm able to help someone that's dealing with dietary fructose intolerance. Maybe that's going to be my niche, you know? Helping people that struggled with exactly what I'm struggling with, right? The idea that your ideal client is you. People struggling with what you got over or overcame. I don't know. It's I'm not discouraged. I'm not discouraged. Like, I've got a pretty good mood, honestly. If anything's getting me down, it's just the fact that I'm trying to find small YouTube channels that are doing stuff with the sugar diet, and there's just this glut of clickbait. The fucking thumbnails have got, you know, people making the oh my god face, and it's just, I get it. I understand what that's about, right? It's about grabbing people's attention. It's just clogging up my YouTube queries. The search bar, you know, type sugar diet, sugar fast, and it's all the clickbait bullshit. Frankly, I've been unsubscribing to some of the bigger channels. It's like, no thanks. Nope. Not you. Nope. Liked you once upon a time. Now it's just for the clicks and the fucking views. And again, more power to you. I'm a greedy capitalist, but I'm also selective in what the fuck I'm looking for. And you're clogging up my feed. You're clogging up my searches. So, all the best. But, like, fuck right off. Get out of my search. Get out of my search results. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure this thing out. I got people that are like, oh, dude, you've lost 3 pounds. Yes. Dude, you've lost 5 pounds. Yes. Dude, you've not lost any weight. Correct. Like, what do you want me to say? I'm testing this shit out publicly. And so there's going to be times where things don't go my way, and everybody gets to see it. And that's what I've chosen to do. Teddy Roosevelt had a good speech, or at least it's a segment of a larger speech that talks about the man in the arena. You know, I'm not doing anything grandiose here, but I'm at least sitting here with skin in the game, taking time out of my day to make these videos, taking time out of my life to try and vet this out, and, you know, dealing with the stumbling blocks along the way. Maybe some people are just like, hey, all I got to do is hammer gummy bears, and that little bit of protein from the glycerin doesn't bother me, and I drop weight like crazy. Cool. I'm glad that's working for you. That's not the approach that I'm able to take. And even if I was able to take that approach, I don't know that I'd be doing a whole lot of candy. Not trying to say it's bad, just saying it's probably not me. Although the Nerds clusters that Latchkey recommended, those were quite tasty. I don't know. I'm all over the map here. I'm all over the map. But the territory keeps changing. And as the territory changes, I'm still trying to vet things out. You know, Dr. Jason Fung talks about how the hypothalamus is in control of like our body set weight. I've looked online and read about the hypothalamus, how we're supposed to take B complex vitamins for a healthy hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus and pituitary and thyroid all have this, you know, symbiotic relationship, and the hypothalamus will control the thyroid and the thyroid controls our metabolism. And it's like, there's so many things that we could put our time and attention on. And yeah, at this point I need to get a big bottle of Maker's Mark, or maybe if I can get my hands on some Weller Antique 107. I'm just going to turn the FGF21 thing into a drinking game, where anytime anyone mentions FGF21, I'll just take a shot. And then eventually I'll be so inebriated that I won't give a fuck that all these channels are just turning into clickbait. But yeah, my mood's still good. My mood's still good. It's just when everybody's saying the same thing, when everyone's clamoring for the attention of the moment, it just all starts to just become noise. People talk about food noise. There's your food noise. All the sugar diet videos. Sugar fasting, and do this, and here's my guide, and this is what I eat in a day, and here's my shopping trip. And cool, like, no hate. It's just kind of sad. Is that what we've been reduced to? Clicks, clicks, clicks. Do whatever we can for the subs. I think the most important thing to come out of all of this will be the fat loss for the people that are bedridden. The fat loss for the people that are mobility impaired. At the end of the day, that's where the focus should be. You know, people that are suffering from metabolic syndrome. People that could, at any time, stroke out and die. You know, that's the way my dad went. My eldest brother, he's had a series of life-altering strokes. My mother died of dementia. That's an ugly, ugly way to go. So, yeah. I think on a philosophical level, as it pertains to diet, I'm taking a hard look at that 80-10-10 diet by Dr. Douglas N. Graham. And you know what? If I looked him up and it turned out that he was a chiropractor, okay, no hate. I respect Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's put a lot of good information out. And I believe he's also a doctor of chiropractic. So, like, why do we play these games of, you know, someone's of a higher tier than another? Like, yes, I understand there's different gradients of human beings. Even a dog knows that. But this idea that, you know, if we don't have some alphabet soup after our name, if we don't have all these acronyms for all the credentials that we have, that, you know, somehow this person's not on the same level as this other person. But if you had firsthand experience, you know, yes, we could call that an N of one, or we can call that anecdotal or whatever, but I would much rather learn from someone that has direct experience doing something than some pontificating expert. Even if that expert, air quotes, has everyone's best interests in mind. You know, it's just, there's ego traps all over the place. And I think typically patients, like going in to see doctors, patients make the mistake of thinking that if the doctor doesn't know something, it's not worth knowing. And I think doctors also believe that about themselves quite often. Not across the board, not every doctor, but I think a lot of doctors have that blind spot where their own hubris gets in the way, where they believe that if they don't know something, it's not worth knowing. You know, we're talking all about the science, the science, the science. When has science ever settled? Really? I mean, it's always asking more questions, probing, taking a different approach to something, asking questions, testing it out. So, yeah, I'd like to just be happy. I'd like to just be happy. And oddly enough, I'm not even pissed off about floating between 280 pounds and 270 pounds. I'm not even sweating it because my mood's been improved. I'm off the stims. I'm no longer using the little nicotine pouches. Coffee is a thing of the past. I don't touch the stuff anymore. Yeah, it's like I'm good. I really am good. I've just got to get this diet thing figured out. You know, I don't want to do the water fasting that I did before. It's not great for the metabolism, not great for the thyroid. So, yeah, to the extent that I can just do the fasting that I did before, as far as like extended hours, but then just not be afraid of putting in some sugar, even up to and including like a smoothie, even though that's like more full-bodied, and you know, it's still not eating though. That's the point, right? I remember a Thomas DeLauer video from, I don't know, 2017, 2018, and he was putting some food in his mouth, and he's like, "This is called eating." And then when he stopped, chewed, swallowed the food, and set the dish down, he's like, "This is called fasting." To me, fasting is always going to be the absence of food. So yeah, maybe I'm too literal. Whatever. But yeah, the fix for me might be to take more of an old school fasting approach, but allow the sugared beverages to be a thing. And not worry about having small quantities, because it's when I push for the larger quantities that the percentage chance of me feeling miserable really, really ramps up. And yeah, I'm not all about that. So yeah. Yeah, the chapter on carbohydrates in the 80-10-10 diet, that should be eye-opening for a lot of folks. And that should explain the issue with dietary fat. I'll leave it there. Anyway, again, no hate. I'm a little frustrated with how YouTube has just been taken over by the sugar diet, and makes it harder and harder to find some of the smaller YouTube channels. And why would I be looking for the smaller YouTube channels? Because all the big channels are generating the thumbnails that are driving the clicks. It's clickbait. It's flashy. It's to grab the attention and get the subs and get the views, and cool. That's awesome. But I'm looking for the little channels that are doing more of the experimental stuff, or talking on a more personal level about some of the challenges that they've faced. Anyway, I said I'd end the video, so let me keep my promise. I hope you had a great I hope you had a great evening. Hope you had a great day. And yeah. Until next time. See ya.